Everything can be handled in your life and in your subconscious through these steps. And what can't be will be revealed so that you can seek the outside help. That's me, man. And the steps are designed to help you connect with God. So as you move through, God knows what you can handle, when you need to handle it. And because if you're implementing the structure of the steps, you can always have your tools to fucking navigate it. That's what I want. That's what I really want. I want an unshakable foundation for life. And what I love about this is we keep reading. Now and then we may be granted a glimpse of the ultimate reality, which is God's kingdom. And when I was explaining earlier about what I couldn't explain in words about meditation, is I've been able to source this spot in my own mind, I believe it's consciousness, where I'm not even present in my own mind. I'm like gone. And I think that's what he's talking about. I'm granted this glimpse into this ultimate reality, God's kingdom. And I feel nothing but like love and peace and nothing. I'm not even present. So when you find this diamond inside yourself and you fucking use this humility, this desire to seek and do God's will, and a lot of that comes in your purpose, in your fucking purpose of helping others, because when life is gonna kick your ass, and life will kick your ass, you better be doing something that is really a purpose in your life, because whatever it is will take you fucking out. But if you have a reason to live, you can fucking help. You can be of service. You can be strong when other people are fucking falling down and weak. That's what we're talking about. The basic ingredient of all humility is the desire to seek and do God's will. So to me, that is what I define humility is. Okay, the level that I'm looking for in life, that's the diamond. That's that shaped diamond that's been chiseled through all the pain and suffering and learning and growing. I get this fucking diamond, and that is a desire to seek and do God's will. I want to be my best self, and I want to serve. To be an intelligent agent and be a spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation. Collect the data of your life. Use your experience of blowing up your fucking self in the mountain, excavating that material, finding that fucking diamond, helping others, going to meetings, being around and collecting the data in an observational fashion so that you can be a spearhead for God's ever-advancing creation. And if God is love, then you're a spearhead in this program for love. You got to be all in this like game that we're talking about, that I'm talking about. And it's worth it. And it is fucking hard, but it's worth it. You got to be all in. You can't be half in and half out. And some of you who have been in relationships and fucking felt the power of self fucking up your fucking psyche, and fucking, you know God's right there, but you can't reach him because you're so fucking stuck in self because of a relationship. That's what I'm talking about. When you get stuck in self and it starts taking control, God's over there and he's there waiting for you, but you can't find him because you're so consumed with what you think it is it's going to keep you happy, or your codependency that's just fucking clawing you back. So there's a lot of fucking humiliation and pain involved, but you're seeking it. And then the fucking gifts come quicker. Most people will live their program on the best of intention, and then they guess what God's will is. They don't know the fucking practical application. And then so it takes them a long time. And most people don't even fucking find genuine humility. That's why Bill says most don't even having a nodding acquaintance with humility as a way of life. And this becomes a way of life. Living with love, living with God. But the only way to get there is to fucking get rid of the shit that's not love and not God. Which is the ego. Which is edging God out, because edging God out means it's absence of love. And my best of intention can hide the absence of God. Because I can think that it's there. I can think I'm doing the right things. But you got to always stop and go, why am I doing what I'm doing? What's under the layers here? And almost always it's a fear. And if it's fear, then God's not there. things that drive me that don't actually serve me or you, these defects of character that we talk about. And I'm learning that. And when we're praying, think about your life a lot when you're in recovery. These things that actually cause you the emotional disturbance or that really fucking sidetrack your recovery, we're praying for those things to be gone, or that we're able to work on them or whatever, or we're able to do God's will. Working a long-term program of action, we're able to smash more of that ego. And, I'm going to say true alignment with the personality, with God's will, and then using your personality and God's will to pack into the stream of life. That's kind of the goal, in my opinion. And everyone's got their unique assets as their personality, and they can be useful in a good way. It's exactly the same with the humility, the desire to seek and do God's will. People want that shit. It's shiny, it's beautiful. You see people with that, you fucking want that shit. Because it's fucking beautiful. And that person who had it, they fucking had to blow up themselves to get that shit. And the pain and the suffering that they've gone through to get that, they fucking stayed the course because they knew that it was there. And it's in every one of us, right? I've now stamped my life with yours, God, and we are on a contract, and I fucking honor this contract. And that kind of surrender is the step that separates the men from the boys. We are now seeking the perfect objective of God. And when I say perfect objective of God, I just mean perfect is love. You act in love because love is actually perfect. It's not that we're perfect and we try to live up to perfection, because that's a human fucking ideology that can be skewed to fit anybody's version of whatever that might be. But when you think of love, it actually means nothing, and it's actually perfect. That's what we're trying to achieve. Altruism is the ability to unselfishly devote oneself to the welfare, happiness, and well-being of others. That equals the top level of humility, because I am unselfishly devoted myself to service of God and my people. The mid-level of fucking altruism is I do it because it makes me feel good. And that's kind of the same as the humble through pain. And then the bottom level of altruism is I'm doing it to save my life, so it's an altruistic act. But I'm doing it because it just saves my life. So altruism and humility are exactly kind of the same, and it's the same on your path through recovery. I am fucking willing, Creator, that you should have all of me, the good and the bad. That means enough self-pity. Means not too much ego either. You can have all the good of me and the bad of me. There's balance in that statement. I now pray that you remove every single defect of character. So he's talking about defects still of the step 6 character that stand in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength, your strength, God, not mine. Grant me your strength as I go from here to do your bidding. And the word bidding's really fucking important in that prayer. Because the word bidding, when you look it up, and you guys can look this shit up at some point, it says to listen to what somebody or something says. So I now go to you, do your bidding, God. I'm going to listen to you. And when you look up the word bidding, you'll see another sidebar. It says to surrender in an overly slavish way. So it says surrender in an overly slavish way. And I was like, okay, what's slavish? And then slavish means without original thought or idea. So it's not any of my thoughts or idea. When I start surrendering, the goal is to get there without reservation, so that I act in love without reservation. But this prayer is actually a prayer that expands your whole life, because it's a journey of healing prayer. And our whole journey of recovery is a journey of healing, and the journey of healing actually goes right till we die. So, where there is hatred, that may I bring love. So I'm asking for Creator's love within inside of me, where I have some self-hatred or self-doubt, right? About my own self. Comparing myself to other people, not living up to what I'm supposed to be based on a lot of societal structures or whatever it might be. That where there is wrong, that I may bring the spirit of forgiveness. To me, that's talking about some shame that I will create within myself. I'm asking for God where I believe that I'm wrong and where I don't live up to whatever it is that I need to live up to based in what I think, that I can bring the spirit of forgiveness and I can accept myself and be okay with that, right? That where there is discord, that I may bring harmony. Where the discord is in me, where the restless and irritable and discontent and me not feeling good or whatever it might be, just the discord, I can ask God to give me harmony in these areas. That where there's error, I may bring truth. That where I maybe mess up, based in maybe a system belief, where I go against my true nature, the God inside of me, my heart, I can bring truth, I can bring love. And I always say truth is really subjective based on the experience that you've had in your life. And everyone says, oh, I speak my truth, I speak my truth. That's great. Speaking our truth based on your experience in life may be skewed by your trauma or by belief systems or by insecurities. But once you get to the surrender of step 7 and you're like working with love and authentic self, you can actually speak the truth of love. And the truth of love actually is not you don't need to justify it, right? But truth that I had earlier in my recovery, I always had to justify my truth. But once you're good with who you are, you don't need to justify your truth anymore. And that's part of like genuine humility. It's usually, and it's always based in love. Love just doesn't need to be justified, right? But fear and ego always need justification. That where there is doubt, I may bring faith. Where there is the self-doubt within me, I ask God's faith. You guide me. You give me your strength and courage to do whatever it is that I'm afraid to do in my own self-doubt. Maybe that's, talking to a woman. Maybe that's, applying for the new job. Maybe that's, starting your own business. Maybe it could be a billion different things. This is why conscious contact with God is so important, because he gives us the power in these moments to just act in that and move through it with his power. Because left to us, there's always a reservation. And the step 7 surrender is without reservation. We try to get to this without reservation and acting in these good ways. That where there is despair, I may bring hope. That where there are shadows, I may bring light. The shadows, the darkness, those dark parts that we were just kind of talking about, and there's many more than that, that I may bring God's light. And I don't go within myself by myself. I bring a flashlight and I bring somebody who's been there before. Going inside myself and just start rooting around, I won't be able to see what I need to see, and it's very dangerous. Where there's sadness, I may bring joy. So as I do this deep inner work over time, right? And this isn't anything that's just black and white, hard and fast lines. This whole prayer is continually being done in our lives. So now we're at the second Lord. And what this next section is like, once I've done this work to be a channel and I've cleared a lot of this guilt and the shame and self-doubt and darkness out of myself through a lot of this work that we do, prayer, meditation, inventories, then I take this out and I start doing these things. Lord, grant me that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted. So now I go out and I start comforting. One of my biggest things was I always wanted to be comforted and understood. But now it's the opposite. Why? Because I've cleared out a lot of the selfish self-centeredness, which is based in the upper 2/3 of this prayer. And it all is in the big book as we work on self and the relinquishment of self, trying to get nearer to our Creator, which is love, which is the God inside of us. And it's working, right? As long as you guys take that seriously and take God's work seriously, it can fucking transcend into ways that are, incalculable.